I talk about their income, their debts, their cash, their down payment, where it's at, where's the money, where's it coming from, is it in your name, is it in a business name, is it a gift? Like, let's talk about these things and what the potential challenges are. What this does for your customer is it makes them realize that, okay, this is a more thorough process. There's some things I didn't think about here, and why would they? They don't do this every day like you do, but it also makes them realize that you're very forward thinking. You're going to make sure that all the potholes that could possibly exist on this journey, you know where they are, you know that they exist, and you're going to make sure that they avoid them. And so I would go really deep. And then from there, then you can get into consultation mode. Say, okay, well, I think I know what we're going to do. What I'd like to do is set up a mortgage planning strategy. I'm going to put together a few different options for you. And this is where I would leverage a tool like Mortgage Coach. I'm a huge fan of Mortgage Coach. You guys all know that. Or MBS Highway. I think they have some really great tools as well. But present them something besides a closing cost worksheet, right? Have a consultation with them. Say, look, based on what you were telling me, I know that you said you have $100,000 to put down, but I also noticed that you have $40,000 in credit card debt. Does it make sense to look at an option where you're paying off your revolving debt, putting a little bit less money down, taking mortgage insurance because your credit score is really high, so mortgage insurance won't cost that much, and let's put 10% down instead of 20% down and help pay off your debt, and your overall expenses are actually less than you're paying in rent right now. Like, that's good advice. At least it's a good option, and we should be presenting them with those options. But none of that is possible if you don't take control of the conversation with confidence and then go through and ask difficult questions. And you might say, well, Tony, this is my first conversation with them. Yes, that's what I'm saying, in your first conversation with them. And you might say, well, I don't know if that's going to work. Well, I can assure you, after doing this for 27 years, this is the conversation I have with every single borrower. And even though I don't originate loans today, I do get referrals. And when I get a referral, this is the conversation I have. Now, I might hand it off and give it to another loan officer because I don't originate loans, but I love having this conversation. You know, I love going into these sorts of details and uncovering the strengths and potential weaknesses of what this borrower has. And by having that conversation with them, it does empower you in this relationship. Now, a lot of people's natural inclination is to make the process feel super simple, right? We want to, like we think we're competing against the push button, get mortgage. So when they call, like, oh yeah, that won't be a problem, I don't see any challenge with that. Like the whole spiel is, how do I make this borrower feel like this is going to be easy as pie? And it's like, why would you do that? You know, I think you think you're doing them a service, but you want to make sure that, and I'm not saying you scare them away. Like, there's a fine line between acknowledging the challenges of obtaining a home mortgage, but also communicating in that conversation that you fully understand those challenges. If there are potential pitfalls, you're going to identify them early and then navigate them around those challenges and onto a smooth closing. Like, you can do that in a graceful way. You don't have to make it all seem like it's all super simple, because then what happens is you start getting down the road and you start coming into, oh, the underwriter said I got variable income. Oh, now I need a letter of explanation on why they're not working 40 hours a week. Or, you know, oh, I didn't realize they had this other side business that when I got their tax returns, because I needed their Schedule E for their rental property, I see that they have a basket weaving business that loses $40,000 a year. Like, because I didn't ask them enough questions up front, because we want to make it smooth and easy. Look, we have to create value in what we do. And sometimes communicating to them and at least pointing out that this can be a thorough and challenging process, it's not scaring them away, and it's not making things seem worse than they are. It's just the reality of the mortgage transaction. And I think it's important to establish that up front. And then, like I said, be a consultant to your people, just like that HVAC guy was for me, you know, making sure that he went through all the different options with me, even Sometimes the option is you don't need a new furnace. Sometimes our borrowers don't need a refinance. Like, that's okay. That's good advice if it's right for them. Now, sometimes they don't need a rate and term refinance like they thought they did, but boy, they could sure benefit from a debt consolidation loan, which maybe wasn't even on their radar because they think, well, gosh, rates are so much higher now, or whatever the case may be. That's up to us to educate them.